Hello and welcome back to Becky's Crafts and Goodies. Now I've got a little tutorial here and a little project share for you, and this was inspired by a lovely lady on YouTube called the Happymailqueen. So I'll link her channel in the description below, so pop along and have a look at her video, and she's got a good channel too, so by all means subscribe to her as well. Now she made some tassels and some sort of planner charms and showed you a few different ways that you could make bows, and also make bows without a die cutting machine or without a bow die. So if you want to see that, then as I say, please do check her video out. Now the video that I'm going to do for you now does involve some templates, some die templates, and there's different kind of bows that we're going to make. So the first one we've got is this large bow here, and this is a double bow with the end ribbon part on there. And there's another one that we made in exactly the same style, but in a different pattern. And we bought we've actually used PVC here for this, and we bought this from eBay. If you type in PVC, craft, anything like that, then obviously, you know, it'll come up. Don't just type in PVC because you might get some strange things come up. So make sure you type craft in as well. And I can't remember, I think I put tassels in as well, so that's good. Don't just put PVC tassels. Okay, right, so let's just show you how we built this together. So this is the large one, and this came in a packet. This cost $14.99, and I bought this from eBay, and it's the Sizzix Bigs, and I use this in my Sizzix machine, and it goes through with no problems at all. So I haven't got room for my die cutting machine here, so I'll just show you how I did it. This piece of PVC isn't actually big enough, so I can't show you exactly, but I will show you roughly. If you can imagine, it goes all the way to the end. Now on the actual pad itself, I'm not sure if it's picking it up, but you have the outlines of the die. Now this part here is this. So if you can imagine, if you just put one single piece of material down like that, it would cut out one side and stop here. But you need it to be like that, so it looks like a pair of swimming goggles really. So what you need to do in order to get that is to fold over your bit of material and kind of butt it up to the end here like that, so you've got the folded over effect. And then when you run it through the machine, it will cut the top layer and the bottom layer, and then when you open it out, it will be like that, and you will get the full amount. So we've got a large pair of swimming goggles, a small pair of swimming goggles, and some mermaid tails. There we go. So what you need to do is, I've got the large one here, and they're all the sort of pieces that go with that. And I've also got a smaller die, which I also bought from eBay, but unfortunately this was just a plastic one, and this wouldn't go through the machine and cut. It's just nowhere near strong enough. But what it did was actually leave like an impression or an imprint on the actual PVC itself. So what it enabled me to do was to put the die on, run it over, and it left like marks where I needed to cut. And all I did was literally cut the pieces out. So we've got those there, and that's what you use to build your bow. Now this builds these bows here. So now what you can do is, you don't actually have to put this bottom ribbon part on. It's actually, you can just do it how you want. So if you were going to make the exact bow like that, I'll show you how to do it. So I'll just move this big one out of the way for a second, and I'll show you the pieces that we've got. So I'll just move the tassels to the side and get started. Now I've got my camera at a bit of a different angle, so I'll try and do it back to front for you, but I might get in a bit of a pickle. So first of all, you obviously cut them out, and you just have to make sure when you bend those over that these bits don't overlap, because on some dies this part is too big. So what you have to do is just take off a little bit because it will, you'll see it otherwise. I'll show you what I mean in a second. So you just take out a bit. On the large die that I've got, I didn't have to do that. It was absolutely fine. So this glue is tacky glue, and I bought that from Hobbycraft, I think, and I found it to work quite well. It takes a minute or so to set, but it does seem to stay when it sets. So I'll just bring those over and together. Now it does look white, but it will dry clear, so it won't matter that it's white glue. So you put that down there and you just stick that. Now I found that these little devils here are quite good for holding things, these little clamps. And I also found, if I can find it, a little peg. This is quite good. So if you get a peg from outside, and then what you can do is just stick the little peg on like that, and that holds it shut while you're getting the next piece ready. So this part here is the bottom part. So this is the simplest bow that we're making at the moment. So when this part's dry, we will then stick that on top of there, if you can see. So that then goes onto there. We'll leave that to dry for a second, because that does take a minute to dry. And while that's drying, I'll show you this large one. Now, I obviously don't expect everyone to have this. I know that the Sizzix machines, they're not cheap. So, but I just wanted to show you, just for those people that do have them, how you can do it. If you can do a little template, there's nothing to stop you looking at these shapes. Remember the large swimming goggles, small swimming goggles, and the tails. There's nothing to stop you trying your own little template and giving it a go yourself. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect, and that's the thing. You know, bows come in all different shapes and sizes. Should have got some more pegs. I think I've got some more in the craft room if my little assistant can go and get me some. So, you know, it doesn't matter that they're not the exact same shape. It really is completely up to you. You know, you don't have to follow any rules, and that's the good thing about crafting. You can make it your own, and that's it. That's brilliant. So I'll just get these little, stick that back down there if you can see, and then pop the peg on it, and that just holds it so it dries. A little production line of bows. But these, obviously I'm using these to put on with tassels, but you can do all sorts with these bows. You know, you're not limited by any means, and once you start and you start getting these ideas, you know, it's unlimited really, the things you can do. So what I'm going to do now is see if this one's dry enough to stick on here. So I'll just take that off. I'm hoping you can see. Okay. As you can see, it hasn't fully dried because it's still white. So it won't stay like that. I'm just rushing really for the purposes of the video. So I'll fold that over and stick that down on there. And then I'll use my little peg again to hold it. But you can see that the actual bow shape is taking place now, so you can actually see there that it's all coming together. So while that's setting, what I'll do is I'll show you how I assembled the other parts. Now you can really do it your own way, it doesn't matter, there's no rules as I said, but I'm going to show you how I've done it, and it's very similar actually to the way that the Happymailqueen does it as well. So I'll get one of these little eye pins here. If I could pick them up. I've cut my nails and I can't pick anything up at the moment. So you need a few different bits here. Hopefully you can see the things that I've got. So we'll work on, you can really mix and match, and you can do things any way that you like really. There's no, like I say, there's no rules. So let's pick a few beads. I'm going to make the black one, And I think what I'm going to do is use one of these big black beads. I think I'm going to use this one. And it doesn't need an end on it because this one's already got an end. But what I'll show you is if you use, say for instance, a smaller bead, I'll just grab one out the tub, then you can actually buy these little ends, these little bead ends. So, and what they do is they go on the top like that, and well, obviously not like that because that will be like that. And you then put the you know, the other bits and pieces through it, and it holds it like that, and it finishes the bead off nicely. But I didn't need to use that because the bead that I'm using has the decorative end on it, so it finishes it off, and it doesn't need it. So let's go through this, and I'll show you as well how I make the tassel. So it's something similar to this, or maybe this one that I'm showing you how to make today. So we've got our little bow drawing here. This is the middle part that will go with that, and this piece will go for the tassel. So this piece for the size of bow I've got there is 5 centimeters by 7 centimeters, and this is what we're going to use to make the tassel. So what you need to do for this is cut the tassels. So you can do them as thick or as thin as you like. It's quite dark here in this room, so I can't really see very well, so hopefully I don't cut through the material. They look better if they're a little bit thinner. I think if they're too thick, then it doesn't look as good. So I'll just cut these, and what you want to do is don't cut all the way to the end. You need to leave a gap there, so you can put the end on the tassel as well. So let's just carry on cutting. This is not as neat as I would like, but we lost a lot of light. It's quite late in the evening here, and we've seemed to have lost a lot of light all of a sudden. So whereas I started and it was quite light, it's by the time we got around to setting everything up, it's gone a bit dark now. So there we go. There's the tassels that we've just cut in the PVC. And what we need to do is to curl this round to make the tassel effect. So what I do is put a little dab of the glue there, and then roll it round. Now I use these little snippy things here to roll it, but it is quite tight and it is quite hard to roll. So excuse the pug barking. So I just do it like that and do it as tight as you can, and then when you get to the end, you just get yourself some more glue and you just dab the glue on. It's probably a bit too much, and then rolling it, keeping it as tight as you can as you go. Now I'm going to give that to my little assistant to hold for me for a second, because we want that to stay shut. So I'm just going to pass that on to Ebony to hold for me for a moment, and that can dry. So as you see, you can do little bits and pieces as you're going along. While things are drying, you can do something else. So let's have a look how this one's doing, and if it is indeed setting. There we go, that's starting to set. It's not properly dry, it's probably going to ping up actually, so I might actually no, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do this part so this can dry. So we've got these little split rings here, and you can buy these in all different sorts of sizes, and it does depend on what size bow you're making as to what size split pin. So it's just having a little play around. I have ordered some more. I think I ordered these with 6mm, and they're not quite big enough, so I've ordered some more. Well, they might be 8 actually. I do forget, I'm so sorry. So we'll pop this part on and stick it around the back. Now you've got 2 choices here. What you can do is put these split rings, sorry, at this point, and then you don't have to open them, or you can put them on at the end, which I might do. So you pop a little dab of glue on there, and you fold that over, if you can see, and then I'll just make sure there's enough glue on that part, and then you fold it over again. Now with that, I am going to put my trusty peg back on and then leave that to dry for a second. So I'm not going to use that pink one at the moment. So we need to basically put all the pieces together. So we've got my middle part. Oops, let's see if I can pick it up with no nails. Got my middle part here, and I'm going to put that through like that. Now you can build it up with all sorts of different beads and anything that you want. You know, it really doesn't matter. You can do it exactly how you want. But what I'm going to do is put the bead straight on the top in this instance, and I need to put one of the split rings in. So I'll take that bead off a second, and I want to close the split ring up, and then the bead will go on like that. Now you can put all sorts of different beads all the way down if you want. It's completely up to you. You can build more and put them on, as long as you leave enough room for the tassel to go on the end. That's absolutely fine. If you didn't want to attach your bow, then what I would recommend now is putting your clasp on now. So you would open that split ring and then put on the clasp at that point, and then that could just work as a charm or something, and it would be, you know, it would be absolutely fine. So I really don't know what the dog's barking at. Absolutely nothing. Her own shadow, probably. So do you want to go and see what the dog's doing, Ebs? Okay, so we'll carry on while she sorts the pug out, barking at her own shadow. Right, so there we go. So as I say, you can put that on at this point if that's what you wanted, but we won't. We'll carry on. So what I'm going to do is, I have the tassel. Now to finish doing the tassel, you need one of these like little end caps, but these are a little bit too small for what I wanted. I wasn't sure what sizes I needed when I ordered. So, and it is trial and error, and we don't always get it right. So what I did was just literally eke them out so we can put the tassel in. So as long as it's open enough to fit over, that'll be fine. So you pop a little dab of glue on the top, and then you get your little tassel end and put it over the top like that. And when it's over, you get your little pliers and you clamp it very carefully. Don't squeeze too hard. You clamp it very carefully just to hold it in place, but so it's sort of neat all the way round like that. And then that part then has to go in, if you can see, has to go in like that. Now if you can see at the bottom, we have lots spare because of the size of pin that we've got. So what I'm going to do, you could either put more beads on, or what I prefer is I'm going to snip it off and then use these little pliers to bend it round. So you need to push it so it's as tight and flush as it can be, and then use your pliers. Just, if you can see, I've just hooked it round, and that should secure that part in place. And if you bend it round, you won't be able to actually see it when it's underneath. So I don't know if you can see there. So there's your base really, and you can now branch off and do anything you like from there. You can put more beads on, as I said. You can put the clasp on and just finish it, have like a key charm or something like that, or you can attach the bow, which I'm going to do right now. So there's that little part finished, and hopefully that's nearly dry. But while we're waiting for that to dry, I'll show you this white one. So we'll unpeg. Now what you can do is you can have a single bow, or you can have a double bow. You can have these on. You don't have to have them on. It's completely up to you. So let's compile this bow up for you now. So you start with the big one at the bottom, and then you put the smaller one next. And you have to make sure you get them the right way round, so there's the right amount showing. And then this part goes underneath. So you just stick the glue on there. And then that goes on that side. And that goes on that side. And then I would clasp that with a peg. Oh. And that will hold it all together until you're ready. So that is how you make the large bows. That's how you compile them. And there will also then be, if you can see here, a little strip that goes through the middle. So when that's dry, all I'll do is exactly the same way that I did on the black bow, is pull the strip around the middle, and that will then secure the bow together. Right, so that's how we do the big one. So if we move now back on, we have got the black bow there and the charm. So I'm going to get the split ring, sorry, keep calling them the wrong name, and open it up with my 2 pliers here, and then put that through. Oh look, it hasn't dried. Let me use a different one. It needed a little bit longer, so I'll put that through there. Hopefully you can see. I'll just have to hold it with my hand. So you put the ring through, and then you would attach, if I could just ask Courtney just to hold that, or I could peg it. Shall I try and peg it? Let me peg it. There we go. Do the trusty peg. And then on this part we need to add one of these little fasteners. So let's pop that on there. And then there's one of these little fastener clips that you have on necklaces and things like that. So we need to put one of those on. And then all we'll need to do is to just close that up like that. And then that will just, that should just hold it shut. Should have done this with a bit more light really. So hopefully you can see. It's quite hard for me to see, but we'll give it a go. Okay, so that's that clamped shut, and that's that ready. And all that's left to do, I'm going to be careful with this because it's not quite dry, all that's left to do is to clip that on to the ring. Let me just open this. So you open that there, and then that literally just clips on just like that. And that's it. That's all you need to do to make the charms. You can change them and make them exactly how you want. With this one, I did exactly the same thing, but I put one of the rings at the bottom and a ring at the top, so I could put the clasp at the very top so I can hang it from the top. So, you know, you can put the bow exactly wherever you want, and mix and match and change, you know, in any way. This one with the big bow, what I did, if you can see, I put one of the pins, these long pins, I'll just grab one to show you. I put that straight the way down. It went straight through the middle of the bow, and then put the beads on and the tassel on that way, and put the clasp on the top so we can hang it up. So you can see there's so many different options and different combinations that you can do. My daughter made this bow and she wants to leave it quite plain, and my other daughter made this one and I think they want to leave it plain, so they're going to do something else with that and not make them into the charms. Just one thing that I also wanted to show you before the end of the video is a little tip really. Now I found this earring in my jewellery box earlier on, and I've had it for a while. I think it was one of the kids because it's a little clip-on earring, and I didn't want to throw it away because I thought it would make a lovely something for craft really. So let me just show you a little tip and something that so all you need to do is to just clip off the part of the earring which is a little clip-on bit, or the part that you don't want anymore, and it just leaves the little ring there, if you can see. And then what I thought you could do is just get one of these little ends there. So you need a little split ring just to open it on. So you just open that up, thread that, let's open it a bit more, thread that through the hook, and then put on this part. Sorry, I wasn't even doing it in focus then. And then close it up, and then that then leaves you a little charm that you can use on your little planner. So there we go, that's just a little tip for you. That's great. I hope you've enjoyed this little video. As I say, do pop over and have a look at the Happymailqueen's channel too. If you haven't already subscribed, then please do subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Take care for now. Bye.